Overall, though, good series played for the Yankees. Like we did talk about, this is what it's about. You have to try and win series. Winning games is not, it's a big deal, but winning series is what's big at the end of the day. That's what results in you winning 100 games. If you win 2 out of 3 of your games in each series, you're going to wind up being a 90 plus win team.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, a series victory for them.
That's right. As Meatloaf always says, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. You're lucky I didn't start singing it. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, and hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. On today's show, we preview the series with Detroit. In case you didn't know, all the games were pushed up because it's supposed to be really cold in Detroit. So we're going to tell you about the pitching matchups and more. Then we go to Miners Monday. We're going to let you know how Scranton's doing, how Somerset's doing, and how Hudson Valley's doing, because now we have 3 teams playing. But first, the Yankees take 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh, which is fine. Let's not get upset that they only won 2 out of 3. And considering how Sunday's game went, I was actually happy. I wasn't happy that they lost Sunday's game, but I liked the fight that they showed later in the game.
Yeah, showed a lot of fight. Got to be proud of that kind of effort, especially because it did have that vibe from what you're saying of getaway game, got away from us, still took the series, okay, yeah. And they're able to fight back, force it into extra innings. I'll tell you this though, this Pittsburgh Pirates team is not good. They are not a good baseball team. You could just tell they're going to wind up having to ship off some of those pieces pretty quickly when it comes to the Cabrian Hayes of the world and everything like that, because they are just not a good baseball team.
Some of their pitchers are good. Some of their bullpen arms are good. So some teams will probably have scouts looking at these guys for trades when the trade deadline comes up, because there's some arms in that bullpen that I was actually impressed with. And I thought, oh, okay, let's keep an eye on some of these guys in case something goes wrong with the Yankees bullpen.
But overall, other than Andrew Heaney, not a lot of good, and Paul Skeens, not a lot of good starters.
And we didn't even see Skeens. Yeah,
which is what everyone wanted to see. We only got the one matchup last year in the All-Star game with Judge and Skeens, but really, in reality, you wanted to see the Skeens-Judge matchup throughout the series. Didn't get to see it.
And we barely saw that in the All-Star game, because didn't he swing at the first pitch?
He did, yeah, and he flew out. Overall, though, good series played for the Yankees. Like we did talk about, this is what it's about. You have to try and win series. Winning games is not, it's a big deal, but winning series is what's big at the end of the day. That's what results in you winning 100 games. If you win 2 out of 3 of your games in each series, you're going to wind up being a 90 plus win team. Friday's game, Stacey, Max Fried's first really solid start as a Yankee. Didn't get the 6 innings that he wanted, but 5 2/3, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. A real look at the Max Fried that we're expecting. Judge homered off of Tim Mize. That's the same guy that he hit number 61 off of, by the way, in 2022. Also, the history that came out of Friday's game, it was Judge's 321st career home run. He did that in his 1,000th game played. The only other player in Major League history to hit that many home runs in that quick of a span is Babe Ruth. Now, Babe Ruth did it at a younger age, so I don't think Judge is going to hit 700 home runs in his career, right. But still just an incredible pace that he's played at to start his career. I still can't believe it's been 1,000 games already.
It's kind of sad when you think about it, because it feels like it's going by too fast, and you think to yourself, we don't have that much time left with Aaron Judge. With as fast as everything is going, he first came up in 2016, and then his first full season was 2017. That's 8 years ago. That's a long time ago.
And he's he came up at an older age than most guys, so you don't get that full, baseball's one of those weird sports, Stacey, where you don't get the player, you don't see him develop from like a teenager up until a pro athlete into his 30s and stuff like that. You really don't ever see it with baseball players. I mean, you do it some guys, but
right. But for the most part, they're not like hockey players who play for
hockey players who you hear of when they're 16 and you don't see them retire till they're 40. Yeah. Speaking of hockey, congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin. He actually passed Wayne Gretzky on Sunday against the Islanders, so I had a little bit of a smile on my face when he passed that record.
Can I mention this next bullet point? Because I'd like to
please
point out the fact that we were not lamenting, but we were just explaining how Volpe, 4 home runs, but he only had the 4 home runs and he wasn't hitting. And then on Friday night, he has 3 hits.
And he really picked it up with the bat throughout the entire series. On Saturday, he had 2 more hits. So he did a lot better of a job with the bat throughout the series. That's important, though. You don't want to see just you kind of had that problem with him in his rookie year, right? Where it was the power stroke that was the only thing that was working for him.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see him become an all-around hitter, and he's looked more like that in this Pittsburgh series. Now, again, let's just see it progress a little more, because I don't want to take one series against a team that doesn't pitch very well,
right?
And take that information as a whole. That they're going to have a tough matchup against Detroit. We'll go through the pitching matchups later, but they are seeing 3 potential all-star starters against Detroit. That's how good of the matchups they have in that one. There was all weekend the sell the team chance. It's more of a Pittsburgh angle, but they got to fix things there. Flaherty did mention it towards the end of this game 3 of the series. A lot of negativity in Pittsburgh. They got rid of the Roberto Clemente monument out there to replace it with an ad. It's weird. If they spent money, I think it would make a little more sense to gain more money, but they don't spend any of it either. So very, very weird to do that, to take down a Roberto Clemente monument out there. Don't really get that. And apparently Roberto Clemente's son went off on social media because they didn't inform the family that they were doing that either.
They put out a statement saying we would never do that. It's like, well, you did, and you got called out for it, which is why you need to change it back. So good job there. I like this stat. The Yankees are 139-38 when Judge homers.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's homered in a lot of games, and they've won a lot of games that he's been playing in. Quickly through Saturday's game, it became the Trent Grisham series because he had 2 home runs in the game on Saturday.
Amazing.
He's hitting really well, and I think it's giving Aaron Boone a little bit more reason to keep him in the lineup and to give Judge the rest that he needed. It gave him more of an excuse to give Bellinger the rest that he got on Friday and Saturday. The back issue looks like it's no problem with Bellinger. That's a good thing. Goldschmidt also had 3 hits on Saturday. Yankees won that game 10-4 after an 0-for-10 spell. Stroman didn't look great, right? And he's kind of showing the reason why the Yankees were looking to get rid of him, because he did not look great in that game at all.
Yeah. Also like to point out Peraza. We were talking about that as well. And 2 starts for him. Mm-hmm. And
deserving. And I'll say this
for him too.
I'll say this too. Moving to the game on Sunday, they in that game in extra innings, Peraza got an at bat, and it winds up turning into a strikeout, so it doesn't look as great on the box score. But if you watch the at bat, he had a terrific at bat. Fouled off a lot of great pitches, got it to a 3-2 count. He's looking more comfortable in there, and those are the kind of at bats that you foul off a bunch of pitches, you get it to a 3-2 count, it ends in a strikeout, but those are the at bats that finish with a base hit or a walk. The more plate appearances he gets, right. So I think he showed enough that he needs to play. I think he's shown enough. The Yankees need to keep playing him. Just quickly through that game, though, they lose 5-4 in 11 innings. They really never got going as a team until like the 7th or 8th inning. They really didn't. Will Warren, I thought pitched fine actually. It was the one inning that he couldn't get through that really turned everything. Yeah. Other than that, though, I mean, it was a game. You're right. You got to like the fight that they showed in this game, because they could have very easily tossed it up to getaway day going into the series against Detroit, who was an ALDS surprise team last year. I think they showed a lot of fight, and again, 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh is really what you could ask for going into this. My
favorite thing about that comeback in the 9th was that Dominguez and Peraza were right in the middle of it. Dominguez made some great plays in left field as well.
Let's like ignore that point, though.
Plays that in spring training, you'd think that, like no one's talking about that, right? Because he's made some pretty good plays. It's like, wow, the more reps he got in left field, the more comfortable he got. The more reps Peraza got at the plate, the more what a novel concept.
And Pittsburgh's not an easy left field to play either, by the way. There's that weird divot by the foul pole, and it's got a deep part of it too to left center. Not an easy outfield to play, and he played it very well, made no mistakes, got a lot of play time out there over the weekend. And it is a frustrating point, right? Because it should be called fair both ways. And I know it is the news media, right? But, he struggles at certain points in plays in the spring training, and the media is all over it. I got a huge problem. He can't play left field, all this stuff. And then he goes into the season without a hiccup in left field, looking really good in left field, and it's nowhere to be mentioned. I mean, no mention of it publicly. No mention of how well he's played, nothing. It's completely gone by the wayside. Weird how that works.
Oh, I would like to mention very quickly, then we have to go to segment 2, that one play that Volpe made in Saturday's game.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. The play up the middle. You know what I'm talking about, because even Kay and Flaherty are like, whoa, because it was such an amazing play. And I can't remember who hit the ball, but whoever hit the ball probably thought, I got a single up the middle.
Fielder.
And Volpe was like, yeah, I'm
Excellent
enjoying
fielder.
seeing him and Jazz team up. I'm enjoying watching him patrol the infield, and I have a good feeling that the youngsters, like my mother would call them, are going to play a big role in how the Yankees do this season.
I'd like to mention that too, because you brought up his name. Jazz has had tremendous command of the plate so far. His bat, even on Sunday's game when he went 1 for 4, the double that he had, it was to deep center field. I mean, he's had tremendous command of the plate, command of the strike zone. I've loved what I've seen out of Jack Chisholm so far.
Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. I send out the lineups every day. No one's complaining about the lineups yet. We're only, not even 2 weeks into the season. It's coming, though. So I send out lineups, roster moves, breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, it's Minors Monday. We'll tell you how Scranton, Somerset, and Hudson Valley are doing.
When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters, and that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatines, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients is also partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper. He trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery, and for what it's worth, so do I, and we've both won 2 MVPs combined, so I think it's worth it. I love that Just Ingredients prioritizes wholesome, nourishing ingredients without the artificial junk. And whether you're recovering after a workout or you need the energy boost, their grass-fed wheat protein and pre-workout delivers real results. Now visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. And for more wellness tips, just follow at just.ingredients on Instagram. Thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen, and remember that every Friday is Fan Mail Friday. You can leave questions underneath the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club to get top priority during Fan Mail Friday. The link is in our description.
It's everyone's favorite segment of the week. It's Minors Monday. You get to find out how the kids are doing, how the rehabbing Yankees are doing. So Scranton played the Syracuse Mets in Syracuse. They finished the series 3-3 because, as you all know, they play 6-game series. I find this the strangest thing in the world.
So do I.
Every time I look at the schedule to see what's coming up and what just happened, I'm just like, I can't imagine getting ready to play a team 6 times.
It's got to be exhausting.
Yeah.
For everybody involved, the managers, the players, but also the media members that cover these teams that are in this, going to the same stadium for a week at a time. The hotels, it's got to feel exhausting, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think you would think that going to different places every 3 or 4 days would be more exhausting, but I think you'd get bored staying in the same place for a week, basically, because you're there for the 6 games. You have the off day, so it depends on when you're traveling. It seems very strange to me. They started the season on the road against Lehigh Valley with 3 games, so that was weird. I don't understand why that happened either, and I think Somerset had the same thing this weekend where they had 3 games and then they play 6 against their next opponent. So I don't understand that. And I don't remember when this scheduling thing started with the minors, but again, I find it very weird. But Yorbit Vivas hit his first and second home runs in the series because he hit his first home run earlier in the weekend and then he hit one on Sunday. Because as I was updating everything, he hit his second. So I was like, oh, cool. Okay. So he hit 2. They're playing the Rochester Red Wings at home for 6 games. That starts on Tuesday.
That's got to be less boring, I guess, because you're at least home. So you're in your apartment or whatever, like at least you're home.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah. Up next, Somerset. Clarke Schmidt is rehabbing there. His first appearance was Saturday. He struck out 7 over 3 and 1/3 scoreless innings. They beat Hartford. Spencer Jones's first hit of the season, just so everyone knows, was a double. Nice job. Clarke Schmidt will make one more start in the minors before joining the Yankees on either April 15th or 16th against Kansas City at home. And that's just before the Yankees go to Steinbrenner Field to play the Rays.
Yeah, really encouraging stuff though out of Clarke Schmidt. I mean, he went down there and absolutely dominated. Not surprising. I think you can kind of sense that he's itching to get his season going. And I think that kind of start against a minor league team where he clearly wasn't working on stuff, he's probably trying to send a message to the Bronx saying, "Hey, I'm ready. Get me up there, please."
Right.
So I love that kind of dominating stuff out of him. 3 1/3, but 7 strikeouts over that span. Pretty good.
Yeah. And as long as there are no setbacks,
yeah,
he will be back with the Yankees against Kansas City next week, 9 days from now. Almost next
and
week.
not a big strikeout guy either, so even more impressive thing too. Clarke Schmidt's not exactly known for he's not Garrett Cole out there striking out 10. So very, very encouraging stuff.
Right. More rehabbing news. Jonathan Loaisiga will begin throwing for Somerset. He's expected to be back in early to mid-May. So that's big news. You know, I love Loaiziga's stuff. He just cannot stay healthy. It is so sad to see basically every season.
Yeah. It's crazy too. Meredith broke this news during the broadcast on Sunday's game, and I thought it was huge. The point that was made by Flaherty and Kay afterwards, where the catalyst that Jonathan Loaiziga could be to this team if he ever could just stay healthy is insane. Because he's got great movement on his pitches, and he throws gas, and he might come back even throwing harder after UCL construction surgery. So he might be able to be throwing harder at some point. He threw 100 miles. This guy threw 100 miles an hour prior to hitting the IL the last time. So I'm encouraged, and if he's able to make his way back and pitch well for this team, they could really use a power arm like that in their bullpen.
Yeah, by the way, Somerset lost 2 out of 3 to Hartford this weekend. They lost 15-6 on Sunday.
Not good.
Not good, but it's early. It's okay. Hudson Valley had an exciting walk-off win on Saturday. They were down 2 runs going into the bottom of the 9th inning, and they ended up scoring 3 to win in the bottom of the 9th. And it was their first win of the season. They won on Sunday. They won 2 out of 3. Their next series is in Brooklyn against the Brooklyn Cyclones. So
who are back playing in a low A ball now, because they were double A for a bit. They were low A prior to that. They were high A class A at one point. They've moved through a million different leagues with the Mets organization. It's insane.
Yeah. I haven't been there. Have you been to that stadium? It looks pretty cool.
To Brooklyn for the Cyclones?
Yeah.
I have on Coney Island. It's right behind the old steeplechase ride. It's incredible. I've been there to a lot of games, like especially as a kid, because I'm from Staten Island, and there was the Staten Island Yankees for a while, but the Yankees got rid of the Staten Island Yankees because they just drew no crowd. No one wanted to go to the games at all. I mean, they had nobody there, so people would go to the Brooklyn Cyclones
when
games.
I lived on Staten Island, which is bad of me, but I used to
it wasn't in the great area. It wasn't in the great area, so a lot of people just chose not to go to games there, and they wound up folding as a team. Now the Staten Island Ferry Hawks play there. It's like an independent league team. But and that was a beautiful ballpark, great views.
Beautiful.
I mean, it was a
The
tremendous ballpark.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Exactly. So you take that away, and now you have and the Brooklyn Cyclones were there for all those years. And as a kid, my grandfather would take me to Brooklyn Cyclones games and everything. So no, it's a big deal out there. So, and it's a gorgeous ballpark. If you guys get the opportunity and do want to for some reason spend a night in Coney Island, that's a good reason.
Yeah. Last time I was in Coney Island, I decided to go on the Wonder Wheel and sit in a swinging car.
I feel like that's scary because of the age of that Wonder Wheel. It's pretty old at this
It's
point.
going to be 100 in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Hard I was going to go on the regular. I'm afraid of heights. Okay. So why did I do this? I don't know.
Interesting take. Yeah. Why?
But I saw like a group of maybe 7 or 8 year olds going on. the swinging cars. And I'm like, well, I'm
Oh,
an
so you felt like,
adult.
yeah.
I'm like, I should be able to do, nope, never again. You couldn't even pay me. It's not just the heights. It's the fact that it's 100 years old. It's the fact that it's chicken wire and you're in this car that doesn't seem very safe because it's
Not at
from the
all.
1920s and you're
Yeah.
swinging hundreds of feet in the air. No, I don't
The
recommend.
Cyclone, I don't even know if it's still open, to be honest with you. I know it's still up. I don't know if it's operational still.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
know they
didn't
had
get to
issues a
go on
few
the
years ago.
Cyclone because I had too big of a bag with me and I didn't want to pay $40 for a locker just to go on the roller coaster. I could bring my
Yeah.
bag with me into the swinging car, the Wonder Wheel, but I couldn't. Roller coasters I don't have a problem with, even though I'm afraid of heights. It's Ferris wheels that get me.
I love roller coasters generally too. The Cyclone kind of freaked me out a little bit just because of the age.
Oh, yeah,
I don't trust
yeah.
it too much.
Sure. It's like riding the Dragon Coaster at Rye Playland, which is another
Yeah.
one that's going to be 100 years in 2029. So,
Yeah, it's like I'm good.
yeah. So, minor league teams just starting. Everything's really just starting. I think the most important news, Clarke Schmidt's coming back soon. Jonathan Loaisiga, barring any setbacks, should be back early to mid-May. Let's just like light some sage. Let's do some like prayer circles. I just want Jonathan Loaisiga to have a solid season. That's all
So do I.
I want him to be healthy.
The most important news out of the minor leagues is the major league players news that's coming out of the minor leagues.
Yeah. I mean, right now, at this point in the season, yes. When we get further in the season and see how things are going with the teams, that will be more important.
100%.
Yeah. Coming up, we preview the series in Detroit against the Tigers next.
There's nothing better than catching a Major League Baseball game live. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of ballpark food. If you're looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. With the last minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the stress out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. And plus, as the ticket prices drop, as the game time gets closer, it means you can score incredible deals at any point to Yankee games. Now, Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and the Yankees are home this coming weekend, so I can count on them to grab tickets that meet my needs if I want to get to a game. The Game Time Picks feature makes finding the best deals effortless. It filters out the fluff, and it highlights the top discounts that are available in the stadium. And also, I love that I can preview my exact seat before purchasing it. There's no surprises once I get to the Bronx. To take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So, Stacey, not an easy series pitching-wise at all for the New York Yankees as they head to Detroit. By the way, if you guys are not aware, all 3 games versus Detroit that were all originally scheduled as night games have all been moved up to the afternoon. The game 1 will be at 3:10, game 2 will be at 1:10, game 3 will be at 1:10, game 3 will be the Prime Video. This is the first time I've ever heard of, to be honest with you, games being moved up in time-wise because of wind chill. They're not being moved up in time because of rain, snow,
or like a hurricane is coming.
Yeah,
right?
It's just cold. It's just because of the cold weather. Is that strange to you?
Yeah. Weather is strange. I think it was Toronto this past week where it was 71 day, and then 2 days later it snowed. They had another ice storm, and then it's back up to being nice again. And it's like,
yeah, I know happening? Colorado, they had snow on opening day for them there. I mean, there are teams that play in cold weather cities, so I get it. It's probably why they should have put a dome on those stadiums, but that's besides the point.
Colorado is known for that, though. Colorado is one of those places where it'll be 75 at noon and then 45 at 9 at night. And you're like, hello? Like the weather could just change like that.
But I've never heard of games being moved up in the day because it's going to be cold.
Yeah, I'm trying.
There's no snow in the forecast for Detroit or precipitation available. It's just because the weather's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's usually precip. That's usually what causes that. So this is. I
hope they're offering like discounted or refunded tickets to people that aren't, because if it's a night game you can go after work. If it's a game that means move to 1:00, you can't make it. That's not really fair to people who bought tickets already.
Yeah, like I think those 2 1:10 games are going to be the crowds are going to be sparse.
Very, very empty, especially if it's cold out. Yeah. The 3:10 game that'll be on on Monday. You'll get Carlos Rodon, who's 1-1 with a 3.97 ERA on the season. He'll go up against Casey Mize, former top draft pick 1-0 with a complete 0 ERA, was really good in his first appearance. This is a guy the Tigers have waited on for a couple of years to wind up making a mark in the major leagues, and he finally has. So it'll be a tough matchup for the Yankees. I expect a lot of strikeouts this weekend, or this 3-game set coming up.
Yeah, this is going to be a real test because the next matchup is Carlos Carrasco. He's 1-0 with a 7.36 against Tarik Skubal, who right now is 0-2 with a 5.91, but he's Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, American League Cy Young Award winner last year, and not the time you want to face Tarik Skubal, because if he's coming off of 2 bad starts, he's probably going to regress to the mean at some point, which
it's
is
going to be like the Zach Gallen start this past week.
Yeah. Looking for some revenge and someone to take it out on, and that someone is probably the Yankees who are standing in his way next. And then it doesn't get any easier, because Game 3, a 1-10 start, that's going to be on Prime Video. You'll get Max Fried out there, who's 1-0 with a 2.61 following his really good start in Pittsburgh. He'll go up against Jack Flaherty, their free agent signing, who's 1-0 with a 2.38 ERA so far. So yeah, like you said, not a good pitching matchups for the Yankees. I don't know what you expect out of them going into this series. Detroit hasn't necessarily hit very well. They did play the White Sox in their last series, so that's kind of skewed a little bit of how you think about it, but not an easy pitching matchup for them going forward.
No. Is anyone else as annoyed as I am that the Yankees could never get Jack Flaherty? Because I wanted him so badly.
Yeah, especially when he was coming out of St. Louis, because there were years there where he was so good. And again, the Yankees were very close last year at the deadline. The Dodgers decided to jump in. The Yankees didn't like his physical. The Dodgers jumped in and took him, and he pitched really well for the Dodgers in the postseason. So, one of those, sometimes you gotta take a leap of faith and go after a guy. And the Tigers had no problem going after him in the offseason. And to create this 1-2-3 at the top of their rotation, they could easily be a playoff team again next year. And they could potentially do some damage with a 1-2-3 like this, Stacey. This is a real. If you're going into a playoff series and this is the 1-2-3 you're lining up against, that's a scary scene right there.
Yes, I would agree with that. I'm just looking at the order of everything. I just love that the Prime Video game is going to be at 1:10 on Wednesday. Although
I'm sure Prime's not happy with that.
It makes it easier for us because we get to do the shows at our old normal time. From the off season,
or off season time,
our off season recording time. We don't have to wait until like 10 o'clock at night to get these games done. So thank you, Mother Nature, for that. We appreciate it.
Isn't it crazy, by the way, how long these games have gone so far? It feels like the pitch clock's not on. It's insane.
I don't understand why this is happening. Like if there's some sort of regression happening or something, it's odd.
Or they've all just the baseball players have just all learned how to deal with the pitch clock better, and they're not rushing as much. But the last 2 years, the games went specifically. That was a hard pronunciation there. Specifically, last year the games were over in like 2.5 hours. It was beautiful. Now it's every game is 3:20, 3:15. It's nuts how long these games are taking.
Yeah.
Also, all 3 of these games in Detroit will be the Gleyber Torres revenge game. So
he's injured.
Oh, he's out. So he's not even. Well, I'm sure they're going to have him speaking in the clubhouse before these games just to give the players a little more motivation because Gleyber Torres is not fond of the Yankees, apparently.
Yeah, because I think against the Dodgers, he tweaked something and he ran into the dugout after he swung. He came back out, but it turns out he actually hurt himself.
Yeah, which is not good for the Tigers after they went out and signed him. They'll see Javi Baez, of course, another big name for the Tigers.
Javi Baez, who's playing center field on Sunday against the White Sox.
They're trying to figure everything out because that 7-year deal is not looking pretty for them.
Yeah,
that money they gave him. A good young talented team, and the pitching they're going to face is going to be a real test if he's going forward.
Yeah, coming into this season, we both mentioned the Tigers as a team that we thought with their young talent that they were maybe one piece away from being the type of team that would be really scary, but they're also playing in the Central. Like we said, the Royals didn't do much. The Twins are kind of like there. So they have a good chance. We're only barely 2 weeks into the season. They have a good chance of being the front runner in this division. For sure. I mean, the Royals have got to be an upsetting team for a lot of people because if they went out and made moves, they would have been able to probably make some noise.
especially with the season they had. You can't expect their pitchers to have as good of a year as they did last year again. So the Royals are a little bit of an upsetting one. I think the Tigers can win this division, actually, which is crazy to think, but like they could actually want to win in this division. That's how good they are.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.